Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to another episode of Team Building with Ryan. Today we're going to be working on the Kecleon team. I haven't actually said it yet, but these are going to be like a sort of like a showdown session where it's going to be 4 episodes long for each team. It's most likely going to be 2 episodes a week, and then yeah. So I might, increase the amount of episodes a week. I don't know yet. So we'll just kind of do this team now, and then okay, so first episode is going to be step 1, coming up with a theme. Step 2, building the 6 Pokemon. Episode 2 will be doing movesets for the Pokemon. Episode 3 will be doing calculations to see if we can effectively counter the big threats, and step 4 will be us testing the team on Showdown. So let's get started. Before we move to Showdown and put everything in, we're gonna do this right here. We're gonna add in Pokemon and stuff like that. So starting off with Kecleon, I already wrote this up ahead of time just so we can spare some time, so it's not like a half an hour long episode. We need something to resist fighting. Now, I know what resists fighting. There's a lot of things that resist fighting, but notice also that we need something that, okay, let me repeat that. A lot of things resist fighting. However, notice that we are immune. It says resist, but we are immune to Ghost. So, my initial guess here is gonna be, let's get Ghost. Let's get a Ghost type on this team. Now, the theme of the team is centering around Kecleon and Trick Room, or in a better word, it doesn't have to be Trick Room. I want it to be partially Trick Room, but speed control, so Tailwind and Priority and Trick Room. So it's all about beating the opponent at their own game, or their own speed game. So I want to find a Ghost type that can use Trick Room. The reason for Ghost is because it's immune to fighting, and Kecleon's immune to one of its weaknesses. Granted, there are a couple of more, but we can easily figure out something for those, as we go on. So there are 3 Pokemon that can learn Trick Room that are Ghost types. Well, that we can use in VGC, because remember, this is a VGC team. And I think, I might be wrong with this, but the 3 are Chandelure, Trevenant, and Gourgeist. Now, in my opinion, I think Trevenant and Gourgeist aren't the best Trick Room setters. I mean, Gourgeist could be really good, but it does a much better job at doing like Leech Seed, Protect, Shadow Force, Will-O-Wisp, and we want it for that. So I think we're gonna go for Chandelure here. Chandelure is definitely something, and I have been thinking about this team because this is the 3rd time I'm recording this episode, so it's gonna be not as thought process intensive as it has been, because I already know the good team for this, but it's stupid Camtasia's fault. But I'll explain my reasonings behind everything. And basically, Chandelure is a very good Trick Room setter because it hits hard, and people are very wary about switching in because it can run a multitude of sets. So I'm gonna put in Chandelure here. We also, there's always something that, weaknesses. There's always a good thing in having your team not look like it's gonna be Trick Room, or kind of hide what you're gonna be doing. Okay, those are the only weaknesses. However, you don't have to do that, and we're not gonna be able to do it for this team. For one of my other teams that we will be, well, the Shuckle team, it doesn't look like a Trick Room team. You only have a few things there that are slow, but behind the scenes, it is a Trick Room team. So there's a multitude of ways to approach things. That looks like it's not gonna fit. Okay, Fairy. Oh, I know why it's not gonna fit. Okay, I did fighting instead of fight. Like, it should fit. That, I don't know why. Okay, there. You should see Fairy. Okay, so outstanding weaknesses: fighting, ground, ghost, water, and dark. So fighting is covered by Chandelure. Ground is not covered by anything. Ghost is in fact covered by Kecleon, so we need something for ground, water, and dark. Now, I think water resists ground, but I don't know if it resists... No, water resists... Excuse me. Water resists water. It doesn't resist ground. However, I know we could probably find something that can either resist ground or dark. So let us take a look. So we don't want any pure water types here. We want something that can cover, you know, both, or at least 2 of the 3 weaknesses that we need, without adding another. So Poliwrath is a good option. I don't really know how Poliwrath works. I don't know if I want to use it. Gyarados is a good option. It's immune to that ground. However, it does add another rock weakness, so I don't know if I want to do that. Granted, we could do Mega Gyarados, but then that adds another fighting weakness. Azumarill actually really works very well. It doesn't add any weaknesses so far that I can think of, and it does resist water and dark. So let us keep looking to see if there's something else, but that seems to be our best bet. There's Sharpedo, but he's not really very bulky, and I don't actually think he's legal. Yeah, it really seems like that's going to be our best bet, so I'm going to go for Azumarill. That's it. I think it's base 80, so it's not going to be too useful of the Trick Room. Oh wow, it's base 50. That's gonna love the Trick Room. Whoopsie, I'm sorry about that. I'll fix that in 1 second. Okay, that was weird. Okay, so Azumarill, that's gonna be our best bet. Crap, I have class soon. Weaknesses: poison, grass, and electric. Okay, its resistances are dragon, which is really useful in this metagame. Fighting, bug, fire, water, ice, and dark. So that adds a poison, grass, and electric weakness. Takes away the water and dark weakness. Poison and grass resisted by Chandelure, so we just need something to resist ground and electric. Oh, and rock. I keep forgetting. I always forget about rock. So we need something that resists ground, electric, and rock. Ground. I think grass. Grass resists ground and rock. No, ground and electric rather. And then I think we can find something in grass that can resist the rock. I think like a grass ground might be good, or grass fighting with Breloom. I don't know. Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn's a pretty good option, but it does add another fighting weakness that I don't really want to. Oh well, we do have. Ferrothorn would be really good. Would be very phenomenal on this team. I'm definitely thinking about using it. However, 2 below Ferrothorn is Chestnut, and while Chestnut isn't, you know, very well used and not really the greatest Pokemon in the game, I kind of want to try it out to see if we can, you know, work something through. So I'm gonna put in Chestnut simply for the fact that it's very rarely used and stuff like that. If I remember correctly, grass fighting is not the best typing in the world. It actually adds a lot of weaknesses to our team. Yeah, it adds a lot of weaknesses and no immunities, which is a little unfortunate. But I kind of want to try it out, and you know, we can obviously change it out in episode 3 and episode 4 when we start testing it. So it's just something to consider right now. I don't know how well Chestnut can handle Kangaskhan. You know, it doesn't have it doesn't have, you know, iron barbs like Ferrothorn does. However, it does have the fighting type, which could be pretty useful. We will need a Kecleon counter, and we'll get into that in episode 3, or maybe episode 2. But yeah, so he adds a crud ton. But before we do that, I'm gonna get rid of what he covers. So ground, rock, and electric. So those are gone. So now we have flying, poison, fire, psychic, ice, and fairy. Oops, I forgot a comma. Okay, so flying is not covered by anything. Poison is double weakness, so it's not covered by enough. Fire is covered by Azumarill and Chandelure, so we don't have to worry about fire. Psychic is covered by nothing. Ice is covered by Azumarill and Chandelure. And fairy is covered by Chandelure. So that leaves us with flying, poison, psychic. There's only one clear opinion on types here, and that's steel. A pure steel would be very helpful. However, most steels do tend to be physical, so we kind of want to look for a special steel. And because if you oh god, I keep doing that. That was bad. If you, oh wait, hold on, I have to bring it back up. If you look at our team, we've got Kecleon, who's physical, Azumarill, who's physical, Chestnut, who's physical. We need some special attackers on this team. I mean, we do have Chandelure. So I'm gonna look. Kecleon is special, but not legal. Aegislash is a really good special Pokemon, but that adds too many weaknesses. Or does it? Yeah, it adds too many weaknesses. It adds a ghost weakness that we won't really be able to cover. Mega Lucario is a good option, but it does add another fire weak. Well, Steel's gonna add another fire weakness no matter what. It adds another ground weakness. Everything's gonna add a ground weakness. What does Mega Lucario add that other things don't? I mean, it is fast, which isn't something that we want. Something that's useful. It's base 90 to base 112. It's only weak to fighting, ground, and fire, and it does have a good amount of resistances. I'm gonna consider, like with Ferrothorn, I'm gonna consider him, but I'm not gonna use him just yet because I kind of want to stay away from using things that are banned on Smogon. I know that kind of puts me at a detriment, but I don't really care. It gives a better challenge, So I'm going to use Magnezone. The electric steel type is actually going to be really useful. We do need something to counter Talonflame, and this seems to be a very solid Talonflame counter. So I'm going to put in Magnezone here. Get in the zone. Get in the Magnezone. So it's only weak to fighting, ground, and fire, much like Lucario is. So it doesn't really do too much to us. Adds another fire weakness, but we have 2 resistances to that, so it's not the end of the world. But it adds a lot more normals. It adds a lot more resistances than Lucario could. And I know, it's not the perfect Talonflame counter because it does have a weakness to whatchamacallit, fire, but it is pretty dang good. Oh, sick. What time is it? Oh god, I have to go to class. Oh goodness, we need to hurry this up a little bit more. Okay, but we actually only have one more Pokemon to get, so I'm gonna do that real quick. Okay, so he takes out Flying, Poison, and Psychic, adds Fight, Ground, and Fire. Fighting is covered well enough. Fire's covered well enough. So we need something for ground. It has to be flying type, because if you think about it, grass adds another fire weakness that we can't add. Bug adds another fire weakness that we can't help. So it has to be a flying type. Let us see. We don't have a Mega, but the only Mega that we can really use is Mega Aerodactyl. Maybe I'm missing something, but Mega Pinsir's Bug. Gyarados is Dark, so that adds another fighting weakness that we can't cover. It's also flying, so it adds another. Well, the Rock isn't too big of a deal. but we are using it as a mega, so I think let's ignore megas for right now. Dragonite's a good thing, but it's kind of a little too fast. Scrolling really quick, Murkrow catches my arm. It catches my arm. Catches my eye. I really like Murkrow, and it does work with the speed control thing with Quash. So, you know what? I'm going to choose Murkrow here. I'm going to choose Murkrow. Obviously, everything is subject to change in team building, but this is a pretty solid... Actually, I have to bring up the resistances and see what our outstanding weaknesses are. But this is a skeleton, and it looks pretty solid for so far. It looks good on paper. Obviously, once we get to the testing phase, we'll see if it actually, you know, translates well. But it's only weak to 4 things, and a quick cursory glance at those weaknesses, I can see that I think we can cover them. I hope we can. So Ghost, Grass, Dark, and it gives us, you know, some good resistances that the team needs. So Ground's out. So Rock, Electric, Ice, and Fairy. My voice sometimes just fades. It's weird. I don't know what it is. Okay, so Rock, Chandler, and Murkrow, but we've got Magnezone and Chestnut, so Rock is fine. Electric, we've got Murkrow and Azumarill, but we have Chestnut and Magnezone, so that's actually pretty fine. Ice is Chestnut and Murkrow, but we've got Magnezone, Azumarill, and Chandelure, so that's cool. And then Fairy is Chandelure. Well, weaknesses are Murkrow and Chestnut, but we've got Chandelure and Magnezone. So, outstanding weaknesses? None. That's actually a pretty solid team. Obviously, we'll have to test it out, and next episode we'll be doing EV spreads and movesets. So I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to actually import these Pokemon right now. And by import, I mean just add them. So I'm going to add them in the order that we made them in. Oh my god, that was the worst spelling of it. It was like Azuka-Kamanil. That was so bad. If you didn't see it, you gotta go back. You gotta go pause and go back to 17, 16, I think it was. Because that was just ridiculous. You know, it does use some, like, odd Pokemon for the metagame. Some very interesting choices, and I kind of like that. I don't like Murgiwo. What the heck is wrong with my type? Well, I clearly didn't type a Pokemon there. Murkrow. Okay, so before, like, you know, obviously I'm not gonna do the movesets right now, but I can definitely do some, like, simple things right now. Like, clearly Azumarill's gonna be huge power. We're gonna make Chestnut bulletproof. We're gonna make oh, I don't know what we're gonna do with Chandelure, but I'm gonna give him Trick Room. Kecleon can learn Trick Room, but I don't know if I want to Trick Room yet. So that's the team for right now. You know, we've got Kecleon, Chandelure, Azumarill, Chestnut, Magnezone, and Murkrow. So it's actually a pretty decent team, pretty solid if you ask me. I have literally 10 minutes to get to class, so I have to export this because I wanted this up today. Hopefully it is going up on Wednesday. So thank you guys so much for watching. Next episode will most likely be on Friday or Saturday. So I hope to see you guys there, and then we'll do the sets for that. So thank you. Oh god, I always do this before I say it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you at the next video. Peace.